It can be done. When I was a kid growing up, we did not have an air conditioner in our house, and we only heated one room in our house.
Yeah.
So
I lived for 3 years with my grandparents, and they only had a wood fireplace.
yeah, it can be. It can definitely be uncomfortable. I'm not going to say that, but when you don't understand like what else is out there, you have nothing to compare it against, right? So I used to love going to spend the night at my cousin's house because my uncle, he had an air conditioner and he would turn it on high like the whole night long, so it would be like 65 degrees in their house, and it felt great. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that in just a second, for sure. That's a really good point that you've made there, Caleb. Okay, let's scroll down to the bottom paragraph. The real story of the post-war period was the growing number of Americans who adopted these tastes. Talking about consumerism, about us using stuff. It kind of reminds you of the 1920s a little bit. In the 2 decades following the end of World War II, nothing short of a new middle class was born in the U.S. Fortune magazine estimated that in the 50s, the middle class, defined as families with more than $5,000 in annual earnings after taxes, which would be equivalent to $40,000 today, was increasing at the rate of 1.1 million people per year. Riding the wave of rising incomes, American dominance in the global economy, and Cold War federal spending, the post-war middle class enjoyed the highest standard of living in the world. Game changer. A lot of your parents and grandparents probably grew up during this time period, and they can tell you some interesting stories, I'm sure.
Okay, I'm going to sort of answer Caleb's question about this kid that has the knife. Most kids, especially back then, had knives and actually guns. Like, even back in, like, the 1800s or even earlier, they had knives. So that's not a new thing.
Okay, so if you take a look at the caption of this photograph, it's at the bottom of page 819, the middle class family ideal. What does ideal mean?
Picture perfect.
Picture perfect, like everything is perfect, right? It's like exactly the way you want it. You know? Think about an ideal lifestyle for you right now. What would be your ideal lifestyle today? Okay, you have like perfect grades in school. Who wants one of these? You want a car? That would be ideal for a 16, 17, 18-year-old high school student. 15 next year. Ideal would be you would get a nice car, right? Hey guys, hey, we want to have this conversation because this is really important, you know? You got to compare yourself to what's going on back then and even today. What's going to happen in the future, right? You got to think about what would be ideal for you in 10 years because it's going to be here before you know it. Got to think about it, okay? What else would be ideal? So we're talking about a car for you. What kind of, just any car? I had a conversation, y'all, last year with an IB student. I said, hey man, I saw your car out there in the parking lot. That's awesome. He had this new car that he just turned 16 or whatever, maybe. Anyway, he just got a car. I was like, that's awesome, you got a car. And he's like, yeah, but it's not the car I wanted, it sucks. And I was like, dude, you got a running car and you've been driving it to school every day. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with your car just because it's like 10 years old doesn't mean it's...
Mine's almost 20 years old.
So this particular student was just like, it's a piece of junk. Like, didn't get what I wanted. You know, like,
should have punched that kid.
He definitely didn't get his ideal car, but, you know, obviously he got a car, so he should be proud of it. And he didn't even buy it. His, like, mom and daddy gave it to him.
My car's older than me.
So, like, take what you can get. Don't pitch a fit, you know? So, you get a car. That's awesome. That's ideal. You said good grades, right?
Technology.
Okay, technology. If you get whatever phone or computer ideal, or even if you get one,